I can tell you from personal experience that most hunters, especially those who travel extensively, face some level of challenge from their significant others as they pursue their hunting career. The answer for me and for countless other men has been to introduce our ladies to the sport and make them a part of it. In her college days, Heather Wilson was a PETA member, but an open mind and an eventual engagement to her fiance and my partner and show producer Dave Fulson has changed her outlook on hunting. Although Heather has taken several feral hogs and whitetail does, she'd expressed her desire to take a trophy deer of her own, and Dave knew exactly where to take her. Deep within Oklahoma's game-rich Wichita Mountains is a whitetail paradise known as Tarbone Ranch, operated by Dave's lifelong friend Ken Cook. Tarbone Ranch is home to a carefully managed whitetail population, where hunting is used as a management tool in addition to providing an unforgettable experience for the lucky few who get to hunt this special piece of the Wichitas. On today's show, we take Heather for her first trophy whitetail as we open the pages of Trigicon's World of Sports Afield.
Trigicon's World of Sports Afield is presented by Trigicon, Brilliant Aiming Solutions, DSC, the Dallas Safari Club, Ruger Firearms, Hornady Manufacturing, accurate, deadly, dependable, the Wildlife Gallery Custom Taxidermy Studio, Carl Zeiss Sport Optics, we make it visible, Voight Harness Company, Cannon Safes, nothing protects like a cannon, the Wild Sheep Foundation,
and Les Chameaux, the best boots money can buy.
Heather Wilson went through somewhat of a culture shock, considering her non-hunting past, when she started dating Safari Classics producer Dave Fulson. Yet she brought an open mind and a sense of enthusiasm to the table, and in short order adopted a love for the sport and a desire to make her own mark as a hunter.
As a little girl growing up in Kentucky, I didn't come from a hunting family, so I was never truly introduced to the sport of shooting or hunting. However, I always had a passion to be outdoors and always had the interest.
Welcome. Hey, Dave.
Kenny boy.
How are you, bud?
How are you?
Long time no see, too long.
I've often said that I consider Ken Cook probably the most well-rounded outdoorsman that I've ever had the chance to hunt and fish with. Ken is an outstanding hunter. I mean, he's got animals such as Kodiak brown bear and even an African leopard with archery tackle to his credit. So Ken is a true predator at heart. But probably more people recognize Ken from his years as a professional bass fisherman. Ken is without a doubt one of the most decorated professional fishermen of all time. In fact, he's a Bassmaster Classic champion. But last year when Ken retired from professional fishing, he was able to put all of his energy into the Tarbone Ranch, and what a great job he and Tammy have done here.
I've looked forward to this hunt since Dave and I first talked about bringing Heather to Tarbone Ranch. It's my first opportunity to get Dave up here since my deer have reached where they're going. And I knew that we'd have a good time. We always have a good time, so bringing Heather here just is going to make it a lot better.
The Tarbone Ranch lies in the heart of the Wichita Mountains, and I cannot tell you how beautiful this place is.
There was enough time for an evening hunt, but first, a quick trip to the rifle range was in order.
Well, Heather, the day has finally arrived.
I know.
You've gotten to Tarbone Ranch.
I know, I'm so excited.
Beautiful weather. We're a little late in the day, but we need to make sure your gun's right, and then we'll take Dave's 300 RCM This new Ruger cartridge is pretty awesome. I'm anxious to see a deer shot with it.
I'm anxious to shoot it.
And we're going to take it to the field. We're late in the day, but we'll go out and see some animals at least, and get broke into the Tarbone Ranch hunting anyway.
That's all right.
We're going to shoot it a few times,
Okay.
see where it's at for you, and go from there.
All right, let's do it.
Heather, that couldn't be more perfect. That is a dead critter, no matter how far he is out there, you got it. Good shot. We'll do one more and we'll be ready to go.
All right.
Let's verify we got that just right.
Heather begins her whitetail odyssey on Tarbone Ranch when Trijicon's World of Sports Afield returns. The hunting tradition brought to you by Dallas Safari Club.
I'm Diana Rupp, Editor-in-Chief of Sports Afield magazine, with this week's installment of The Hunting Tradition. A new report from the National Sporting Goods Association shows that while overall numbers of hunters may have decreased between 2008 and 2009, the number of women hunters actually increased by 5.5%. That's right, plenty of women are getting into hunting, more than 160,000 in 2008 alone. But women hunters are hardly something new. Over the centuries, women have been pursuing hunting adventures right along with men. Two cousins, English women Agnes and Cecily Herbert, were among the first to write books about their hunting adventures, which took them to Alaska, the Caucasus, and Africa in the years between 1906 and 1911. And an amazing Englishwoman named Lady Minna Jenkins had already taken 5 tigers in India when she arrived in Tibet in 1906 for a solo shikar in some of the most difficult mountains in the world. On that trip, she took 17 head of game, including a Tibetan argali. In the United States, Paulina Brandreth, a deer hunter and naturalist from the Adirondacks, held her own with the finest deer hunters of the time. And in 1930, she published one of the first major books on whitetail deer hunting, using the pen name Paul Brandreth. And of course, the famous Osa Johnson fearlessly stopped charging lions and elephants as she and her husband Martin filmed groundbreaking footage of Africa's wildlife and people beginning in 1921. In short, women have a long and proud tradition in the world of hunting, one that today's women hunters are continuing. You can learn more about the hunting tradition in every issue of Sports Afield magazine and at sportsafield.com.
Well, it's late in the day, Heather. It's kind of late to see something out, but let's just take a little hike and go down this little creek line here.
Yeah.
There's a nice little food plot on the other side, and just see some new sign, maybe some scrapes popped up I don't know about.
Never know what we'll find.
That's right. We need to be out here hunting, and it's a great day to be out here. So.
Ken wanted to give Heather a deer's eye view of the ranch, so they set out on foot to an area that Ken had decided to hunt that afternoon. Veteran hunters sometimes take things for granted, simple things like finding a shed antler. But Heather found deep satisfaction in the small moments of the overall experience, and each new area or sighting of game was a source of excitement for her.
As I planned to retire from my professional fishing career, I always wanted to manage Tarbone Ranch as a trophy big game ranch, focusing on big whitetail deer and elk and possibly bison.
The Oklahoma whitetail rut was starting to get into full swing, and the sign of buck activity was starting to show up all over the range.
Here's that field we're looking at. It's oh well, look, here's a scrape. Actually, 2 of them. This is a whitetail deer scrape. It's where the bucks come, they paw the ground, urinate in the dirt, and they rub their head and antlers and face on these licking branches overhead. They leave their scent high and low. This is a really good sign that the rut's about to really kick in. Okay. It's a good thing. Let's see if we can go find a place to hunt.
Ken decided that this area was being used by several bucks, so he decided to set up a simple brush blind downwind of several scrapes that bordered a deep creek, which led directly to one of the ranch's many food plots.
This is the food plot of alfalfa that I planted like 2 years ago. Then this little corner, and it sits next to a good bedding area, a real thick area where the deer like to lay up in the daytime. It's one of the first places they come out to feed in the afternoon, so hopefully come before dark.
So there's a pretty good chance we might see something.
Oh yeah, we'll see some deer, I bet on it.
The rut can be both a blessing and a curse. The bucks are on the move, day and night, which is good. Yet the predictability of the deer movements has been eliminated as the bucks cruise the ranch in search of hot does.
There are some bucks out there that I call management bucks. This is the kind of buck that I want to find for Heather. I have one in mind. It's a 6-year-old buck that has less than 10 points, 9 to be exact. But he's a big buck. He's going to be a trophy buck to almost any hunter.
Several does and younger bucks came into the field, but not the big 9-pointer that Ken was looking for. A small herd of elk even drifted in for an evening feed, making it an exciting afternoon, even though Heather's buck was not on the scene.
I'm not seeing a whole lot, so I'm just going to tickle these a little bit and see if we can get one to come from out of the woods or around the corner, see if we can see another buck. It's getting kind of late in the day. Got nothing to lose at this point. It's a little early, but we'll try it. It's getting late enough now. I can't really tell what the bucks look like. It says we're hunting a specific size buck. Okay. We probably need to just well go on in. We've seen these deer. It's good to see some deer at least. Yeah. Tomorrow's another day.
All in all, it had been a beautiful afternoon, and the promise of a great morning to come made for light hearts as Ken and Heather watched the sun go down.
Well, that wasn't too bad for your first evening in God's country. I love this place more than you can ever know.
Our whitetail adventure at Tarbone Ranch continues when Trijicon's World of Sports Afield returns.
All right, Heather, another day. I got a spot picked out for us this afternoon. It's not far, but it's a big alfalfa field that deer, elk, turkeys, everything uses there. I've been seeing a lot of game there. Game trail cameras have been showing me stuff there. Okay, we'll go there and sit and see what we can see this afternoon. Maybe that big buck will show up. You never know.
All right, sounds like a plan.
Load it up. My fascination has always been with big whitetails, so my goal has been to raise the best possible whitetails I could on Tarbone Ranch. To do that, I've instituted a lot of food plots. I keep high protein nutrition available for them year-round, but mainly I let them get old. I let them reach their potential before we ever make any attempt to harvest a deer. I want it to be 5 or at least 5 and hopefully 6 years old and older. That gives them age to see what they're going to be, and that's been the biggest pleasure of having Tarbone Ranch, seeing these bucks grow. And now I get to have some hunters like Heather that come in here, and I get to actually put my hands on the deer that we've grown.
Hey, Ken, we got a buck coming in. We got something around 11 o'clock.
Okay. Oh, I see it. Oh, that's a buck I know. You notice that buck's he's kind of got a short nose. Yeah. And I know him from past. He's got a nasty disposition because I call him Pug Nasty. I've got some of my deer named, but you watch, he'll pick a fight if there's any other deer comes around. He really has a good appetite. He's an older buck, right, and there has been a whole lot to look at, but he's pretty. Let's watch him for a little while.
How old is he?
I think he's 5.5.
The hunt for a specific buck can be an exercise of what can only be defined as wonderful frustration. The Tarbone Ranch is truly a whitetail paradise, and finding bucks is seldom the problem. With the rut about to hit its stride, patterning buck movement is difficult as the bucks are constantly on the move between their quest for does and their need to feed. One afternoon's hunt was a perfect example of what could drive a hunter crazy looking for a 9-point needle in a whitetail haystack. Ken and Heather saw bucks, lots of bucks, but the Big 9, as Ken called him, was once again not on the scene. But seeing all the game, it was a thrill for Heather to be so close to so many great deer. Heather Wilson's patience pays off when the buck she's been dreaming of finally shows up. That hunt when Trijicon's World of Sports Afield returns. And now, Inside the Hunt, brought to you by Hornady.
We talk a lot about choosing the right rifle and the right cartridge and even the right scope, but with a scope, that's not the whole story. You also have to make sure that you choose the right reticle for the kind of shooting that you're going to be doing. This Ruger number 1 has a low power Trijicon, a 1.25 to 4X, and this has the original Trijicon post reticle. Now, it's real fast, and I tell you what, over the last several years, I have really come to love this reticle for any shooting that's going to be close range and fairly fast. On this 375 Ruger, I've got a 3 to 9 Trijicon, and this has really more of a conventional reticle. It has a crosshair, but still with that lighted tritium center, so you still have the benefit of the lighted sight, but you also have the more familiar crosshair reticle that's much easier to use at longer range, doesn't cover up as much of the target. But if you're going to be shooting dangerous game with a scope at very close range, then a more specialized reticle like the original Trijicon Post is a really great way to go.
Ken's Primos trail cam had taken several photos of the target buck at a small food plot, so he and Heather got into a pop-up blind well before sunrise in hopes that the Big 9-pointer was still in the area.
Ken was looking for a particular buck for me, but I tell you, it was pretty difficult at times. And I was thinking it would never happen, but I tell you, Ken reassured me that, Heather, finding that buck can happen just like that.
As we're sitting there, it's real quiet and frosty. First buck I see that morning coming around the corner, here's this big-bodied buck with just the antlers I'm looking for, and Heather, that's your buck.
That's him. That's the one we've been looking for. He's coming right on down. Go ahead and get on your gun. He's gonna come. When he gets left to that tree, I want you to take him out. I'll stop him for you. Just let me know when you're ready. Here he comes. Bust him. Yes. Yes. He's down right there. Girl, I can't believe it. We looked at so many bucks. Looking for that particular buck, and with this many bucks, it's hard to find a buck, but that's what we're going to take. He's right. Oh, I love it.
Ken, wow.
The deer had dropped to the shot, and the pressure was off. Ken and Heather decided to just sit quietly in the Oklahoma dawn and enjoy a morning that both hunters knew they would never forget. As the sun cleared the horizon, it was time at last for Heather to claim her prize.
Well, Heather, I've known Dave a long time. We go back a long way. I've watched his trophy room grow. He's watched mine grow. And I know he's got a lot of animals. And we started talking about a deer for you. And I told him, I said, I've got a deer for Heather. It's a big 9-pointer this year that he's reached his potential, I think. He's left his genes on Tarbone Ranch quite a bit, and I wanted you all to come share. And we've had a hard time finding this deer.
Right, no, we've seen so many.
We've seen a lot of deer, a lot of bucks, but when you're looking for a buck, it's a challenge.
Yeah.
But it can happen quickly, and that's what it did this morning. I mean, we're seeing does, we've got little bucks out there, and then this guy just comes strolling in. That's how it works.
I can't tell you, Ken. I mean, the opportunity. Thank you so much. I couldn't have done this without you. As you know, Dave, our house is just full of critters.
Yeah.
And
that's good. Now you got a critter of your very own.
I was going to say, I cannot tell you how proud I am. I'm just words can't describe just the feeling I have just looking at him.
From a hunting standpoint, this was obviously a successful hunt for me. However, even better than that, I got to spend it with Dave, Ken and Tammy Cook here at the Tarbone Ranch in Oklahoma, and it is certainly a memory I will cherish for the rest of my life, and I look forward to coming back.
The making of a new hunter is a process with many steps, and Heather had just taken a major one in her path toward becoming a serious outdoors woman. The Tarbone Ranch had been the perfect backdrop for her introduction into the wonderful world of whitetail hunting. Ken and Tammy Cook have created their own piece of heaven in Oklahoma, and their passion for the land and its wildlife is a legacy they pass on to everyone who drives through the Tarbone Ranch gate. As for Heather's first trophy, well, thanks to the Wildlife Gallery's Charlotte Catlin, the memory is now hanging in Heather's office and will always bring her back to a golden morning in southwest Oklahoma. A morning at Tarbone Ranch. Trigicon's World of Sports Afield has been brought to you by Trigicon, Brilliant Aiming Solutions, DSC, the Dallas Safari Club, Ruger Firearms, Hornady Manufacturing, Accurate, Deadly, Dependable, the Wildlife Gallery Custom Taxidermy Studio, Zeiss Sport Optics, Boyd Harness Company, Cannon Safes, nothing protects like a cannon, the Wild Sheep Foundation,
And Les Chameaux, the best boots money can buy.
Closed captioning provided by Getting Involved, a guide to hunting and conservation for kids.